The Quincy Police Department also shared their annual report for 2022 today. They saw an increase in some criminal categories. The report covers a variety of statistical information as well as basic department information. Quincy residents will be happy to hear what they saw a 22% deduction in index crimes like theft. However, QPD says that percentage might rise for next year.
I think that obviously we put out an annual report so that we have an idea of what crime rates are doing in the city of Quincy. This particular year, 2022, we saw a reduction in index crimes, which I think is good, but crime statistics ebb and flow.
And the department wants to remind residents that these numbers are only for the 2022 year.